Well, I've arrived. Where have you arrived, Finn? I've arrived at beautiful Loch Lass. And why? Why have you come here, Finn? Well, tonight I am going to try and sleep way up there. Quite high, as far as you can go up to the very tip of the forest where I'm going to reside tonight. And see how that feels. Through all of that walking today, just scaling down the mountain, collecting all the firewood, cutting it, dragging it, built up a lot of sweat content on my t-shirt layer closest to the body. If I was to leave that as it was all night, I think I would struggle with the cold.
It's 2:15 PM on Friday, March 25th, 2022, and 32-year-old Finn Creaney, a seasoned outdoorsman, survivalist and YouTube vlogger, has just been dropped off at a caravan campsite car park on the B873 near Loch Neva in Anthnahara, Sutherland. That's the Scottish Highlands. Having already parked his car at the trip's endpoint, 40 miles south at a car park in Gulpsea, and hitched a ride with a family member to the starting point, Finn is ready to kick off the journey. The weather is unusually sunny for the time of year, a rarity in the Highlands, but it's an ideal start and one less problem Finn has to think about. At around 3:45 PM, Finn is spotted by a group of bikers roughly 3 miles from the starting point, but an estimate of between 2 and 3 miles is probably more accurate, meaning then he's in this rough area. Finn is due to make it to Gulpsea at some point on Sunday, but when that day comes, ladies and gentlemen, he's nowhere to be seen. In fact, he vanishes during the trip. Many questions surround this mysterious missing persons case, so come with me as we try to get some answers and figure out what may have potentially happened to this YouTuber who vanished into thin air while filming in the woods. Finn Creaney was looking forward to a bright future around the time of his disappearance. He had recently married his girlfriend of 9 years, Lucy, who described the special day as a magical event for very close family and friends. The paperwork was done at the registry office. Everything about that day was so personal. We're both fantasy film fans, so we wore custom-made outfits by the people who made the costumes for the TV show, The Witcher. I'm a bit of a tomboy, but I wore a dress the day we were married. I said to myself, this day, I will look like a girl. Shortly after their wedding, Lucy discovered she was pregnant, and just 2 weeks before Finn's disappearance, the couple learned they were expecting a boy. Bran, who of course has since been born. Bran was their second child. They already had a daughter, Luna. Everything was coming together beautifully. We had just got married and life was fantastic. When I fell pregnant, we were like, this is a fairy tale. And when we found out we were having a boy, it was, wow, you can't write this. The couple's professional lives were thriving as well. Lucy had launched her own florist business, and Finn, well, he co-founded Wildcat Bushcraft, a bushcraft and survival school. Whether it be eager school-aged children who wanted to know the basics, or the average Joe wanting to learn how to survive out in the Highlands, there was something for everyone at Wildcat Bushcraft. By early 2022, business was booming. The Easter holidays were fully booked, and the company was on the verge of signing a partnership with the charity Action for Children, opening the possibility of taking the company nationwide. In early 2021, Finn launched the Wildcat Bushcraft YouTube channel, although the first video wasn't posted until May of that year. In the short clip, essentially an introduction to the channel, he introduces himself, shares his vision for the future of his content, and promotes his upcoming series, Wildcat Way. Vlog-style videos that would take the viewer on a journey with Finn as he braves through the Scottish wilderness in various weather conditions and across different types of terrains.
Ooh, the scale. Okay, I've got one more march to do. Check that out! Ooh! Yes! I'm heading up here. The final march. I have arrived. I'm at the top. I made it. The feeling is good. It's very cold, but I'm happy to be absolutely set up. On the way up, I started hitting an absolute whitewash. Time to chill, I think. Time to just hunker down. There's nothing to see. There's not much to do. Shout out to Lucy, shout out to Luna, both my girls. I love you guys so much. Really important in these locations to have a good tarpaulin set up. Basically just made a crawl space It's a little hard to get into, but it really helps keep the wind out. What a wonderful night. Yes, come on. Surviving. 3,000 foot above sea level, man. Yes. That is me completely packed and ready to go. You can imagine how much the fingers enjoyed that. It's such a shame that the visibility has just been so poor. I can just faintly see the edge of the rim here. A couple of interesting experiences, you know, last night there was one point I woke up and this must have cleared and I could see, you know, the lights down at the harbour at Evanton. It's the first time I've ever had completely frozen solid boots. It took quite a lot of effort to get into them. Everything was just completely frozen. As much as a toil as it was to get up here with all that gear, it was completely worth it. Every layer, every bit of wool was completely worth it because it retained that heat all night. A lot done, and I've started reinforcing the top a little bit. Now where I'm standing here, I'm going to have a door. Back needs a lot of work, but that's just leaning. I've just had a spot of bad luck. I had my Laplander in my hand. Leather must have been wrapped around one of these twigs, and as that dropped, flicked it out of my hand and cut open my finger, and I think it's quite deep because it's bleeding relatively badly. I got some cotton flour out of my tinder pack, bit of paracord, lots of pressure, rough as you go. A good bit of time recently bringing all of the forest bed together and using it to create a windshield and just thatch in this lower half. Really thick, you know, it's all sorts of debris. We have got the back done. Here's the glory though. What a difference it's made to the front. And inside there's no issue with the snowfall or hopefully rainfall coming through the top. Doing the bedding and doing all the woodwork, sawing that up, took the longest amount of time. But the thatching was really, really quick. Can't feel the wind and there's nothing hitting me in the head. Shelter, element, done. So today we're really wanting to concentrate on iron varieties. Not so easy to find, but it's certainly ready available online. Steel, some char cloth, really super dry. It's such a lifesaver when you're wanting to use striking methods. I think we're going to go nest today. So I've got some hay, some nice dried grass, as dry as you can find, dry ferns, cotton flowers from the tinder pack, old man's beard, and I'm really partial to thistle. A bit of char cloth in the centre here just as well to help propel the ignition process. Okay, let's get into it. This might take a while. And it's a bit bright, you might not get to see the sparks. I'm hoping the sparks are really visible. But yes, this might take a wee while, so you have to bear with me. Patience is the key. Really delighted. Absolute gem. Now that the fire's going, I'd like to show you another couple of similar practical bits of kit that we can use that you can find a little more easier. You know what they say about Scotland and the underground. You don't want to set, probably not that you could, it's so wet here, but you don't want to set the peat and the undergrowth alight and for that to burn and come up later on when you don't expect it. With a platform made out of, you know, 4 or 5 inch thick stone, you're not going to have that issue. A decent bit of coverage. Just tenderly looking after it, building it up. Again, you know you got to be patient in these kind of conditions. It is a very wet day, rainfall, and then some. It's really fighting that layer of moisture on the outside, drying stuff in and around it. Try and help the drying process. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm gonna celebrate. Here's to you guys. Here's to surviving. That's a nice reward. Oh yes. Let's have a look. Yes. Alright, I've arrived at dinner time. I'm always in time for dinner. Alright. Go on, venison burger. That's banging. Good morning. It is a good morning. I'm dry. I've actually had a really good sleep. I'm quite toasty, so time to get back on the road. I'm gonna spend some time sawing into this, getting some shreds so that when I kindle a flame, the shreds will catch. They'll be drier, they'll catch easier, and we'll hopefully get more luck with the fire. The bark as well that's been peeling off. A lot of this, it's still got moisture in it, but a lot of it's really good too. I can open it up and inside, beautifully dry. Like when you're batoning, pull to the side, cut your way down, and then pull to the side, and it wedges open. So, the sun is quickly starting to set. I think whilst we've got some light, I've collected like 9 trees already. We have kindling, larger stuff, smaller stuff, broken open, dirty stuff that I've been collecting off the birch barks, and some old man's beard and stuff. It's been in my pocket a wee while, not but a couple of hours at the most, but we'll have to make do. So let's see how this goes. I have to say I'm very pleased. Yes! Fire! Come on! That fire just ignited so nicely. I've been out here. I've been out here previously, and it has been a real challenge. I'm gonna get a drink of water, and I'm gonna enjoy the fire for a while. Alright, I'm starting to switch to a kind of basic star fire. It just saves a lot of effort with the sawing. Fire is just amazing. But you know, if it didn't go tonight, there are other ways to maintain heat. You know what huskies are used to, really severe temperatures, but when they get too cold themselves, they just get up and start walking around, build up the heat. And I think that's what you've got to do yourself. If you start feeling the shiver coming in, you know, that's your body trying to generate heat anyway. Build up heat before it gets to that point by getting up, you know, do some push-ups.
So, as you can see, Finn was no amateur. He was a seasoned survivalist who thrived in the harshest conditions. That's what makes what happened in March of 2022 all the more confusing and mysterious. While investigating cases like this one, I find myself spending hours online, and for a change of scenery, I'll often pop down to the local coffee shop. What matters the most to me while I'm there is of course the investigation, especially if it's unsolved, but also my data. And honestly, that should be your #1 priority too when connecting to public Wi-Fi in the city. Whether it be fake networks that direct you to bogus web pages in an attempt to steal personal information, a specialized tool that searches for passwords you've saved in your browser, or your session being hacked to break into your accounts, just know that there are countless ways hackers can try to target you when you're using public Wi-Fi. But there's no need to panic because today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, is here to help. With Surfshark VPN, your data is encrypted, meaning anyone attempting to snoop on you while you're connected out in public will see unusable, scrambled information. Amazing, right? And that's just one of the many benefits that Surfshark offers. Another, which is personally my favorite, is that Surfshark VPN allows me to be placed anywhere around the world. If you're a true crime lover like me, then you've probably spent time searching for your latest case to get into. The only issue is though, you've also probably watched all there is to watch. But with the click of a button or a tap on your phone screen, because yes, Surfshark is available on iOS and Android devices, you can put yourself anywhere in the entire world and unlock some new true crime content. And before I forget, if you sign up to Surfshark today, there's not just a 30-day money-back guarantee, but also an extra 4 months at an unbeatable price when you sign up using the link in the pinned comment of this video. So again, that's www.surfshark.com/apehuncho for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. And with that being said then, let's dive back into the case and try and piece together what exactly happened to Finn. It's Friday, March 25th, 2022, and Finn Creaney is gearing up for his trip across the Highlands in the afternoon. He's been planning the journey for a little while and is to vlog it as part of his Wildcat Way series on YouTube. Mother's Day is on the Sunday, and the 2-day 40-mile hike from the Amthnahara Caravan and Motorhome Club campsite to Golspie fits perfectly into the schedule. Finn reassures Lucy that he'll 100% be back on the Sunday, to not only spend time with the family, but also to help with flower deliveries for customers. So, a big family hug commences, Finn waves goodbye to Luna and Lucy, and the adventure begins. Although he hasn't taken this specific route before, it isn't anything out of the ordinary. After all, he's done similar trips in the past and has planned more for the future. On the day in question, he's reportedly the happiest he's ever been. It's not surprising, he and his wife's businesses are flourishing, as you already know. Home life is wonderful and he's got a baby boy on the way. Let's not forget, Finn expected extremely cold weather as well. After leaving his home in the Pitcairn area near Tain, Finn meets with a family member and the pair make the 17-mile trip to the car park in Golspie. They travel in separate vehicles. This is where he's due to end the hike. The car is placed there so he can drive straight home upon completion. Once they arrive, they park up, and shortly afterward, they begin the 42-mile trip to the Altnahara Caravan and Motorhome Club campsite. During the drive, Finn sends a text message to Lucy telling her how much he loves her and how he's proud of her recent success in business. That would be the last time Lucy ever heard from him. Shortly after that message is sent, Finn's phone is either switched off or goes dead in the village of Leg. That's roughly the halfway point between the campsite and where he's just dropped the car off. Then at 2:15 p.m, he makes it to the campsite. How do we know this? Well, that's because witnesses put him there. From here, he thanks the family member for the assistance and begins to walk in this direction. A group of bikers spot him around this general area about an hour and a half later, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last time anyone ever sees or hears from Finn Creaney. When Finn doesn't return home on the Sunday, Lucy panics because she can't get in touch with him, but calms herself when she assumes that the journey may have taken longer than planned. However, when he doesn't return home on the Monday and she still can't get hold of him, the fear that something's happened sets in. Lucy initially contacts family and friends to see if anyone's heard from him. They haven't. So she contacts the school, but he's not there either. So she heads over to the police station to file a missing persons report. I was sure I was overreacting. I was all but certain the police would meet him on his walk and he would laugh. Are you for real? He's like a cat. He always lands on his feet and always comes home. But I also couldn't help thinking, what if something has happened? Had he had an accident? What else could have gone on? Looking back, I think I probably went into a state of shock, unable to make sense of his absence. What Lucy doesn't realise is just how seriously the police are about to take Finn's disappearance. Reality soon sets in when multiple officers arrive at the family home to gather as much evidence as they can. When word begins to spread about the disappearance in the hours and days following the police visit, various search parties, including family and friends, the police, and Mountain Search and Rescue, head over to the general area where he was last seen in an attempt to find him. The BBC were filming season 1 of Highland Cops during the initial days of the search. I was going to include it in this video, but I had issues, so I've decided to leave it out. But if you do wish to view the footage and live in the United Kingdom, then it's available on BBC iPlayer. Just to let you know though, you only have 4 months left as of when I'm recording this video to view the episode, so make sure you go and watch that when you've got some spare time for a more in-depth look. To summarise, however, the search parties cover the route Finn most likely would have taken, but ultimately they don't locate him. This broader search effort lasted around a month, but again, he nor any of his belongings, which included what he was wearing on the day, a black t-shirt, a knee-length brown leather jacket, dark-coloured trousers, brown waterproof boots, and a green rucksack, were ever located. That wasn't where the search ended though, because while the authorities eventually ceased their efforts, Finn's family and friends, particularly his father Mark, continued on for months. The family created various social media pages dedicated to finding Finn, keeping the search alive. In October of 2023, a breakthrough in the case emerged. Finn's rucksack was discovered near Loch Neva, close to where he had been spotted by the bikers. This discovery led many to believe that Finn may have entered the loch to shorten his journey, but met his end in the water after suffering from some sort of accident. Questions about this theory do remain though. You see, Finn was a strong swimmer, so why would he have struggled in the loch? Why did it take so long for the rucksack to surface? And why was the bag placed there if he was planning on crossing? Surely it would have ended up in the water as well.
Hi, I'm Mark, father of missing hiker Finn Creaney. I just thought I'd give you a little update to tell where we are just now. As you know, Finn went missing 18 months ago on his hike from Loch Neva to Golspie, and despite searching the house for all that time, we found no clues to him being there, and that was up to 2 weeks ago, when a couple of deer stalkers on their way to Altnahara came across Finn's rucksack at the side of Loch Never, and on closer inspection of the rucksack and its belongings and a few other items that I can't really get into, we now believe that Finn attempted to swim the loch in order to cut his journey time somewhat to the coast. Now Finn is a really strong swimmer and a good wild swimmer, but for some reasons that we don't know about, we fear that he may not have made the swim. Now, police divers have been down last week and they've searched the area where the rucksack was found and his possible start point, and they came up with nothing. Now this is just a real blow to Finn's family and everybody that cares about Finn, everybody that loves him. And yeah, we're unfortunately preparing ourselves for the worst. But I'll keep you updated hopefully as things go along. And as always, we're determined to bring our boy home to us. Yeah, because we need him home. And so thank you, and thank for all your support, and hopefully we'll get through these times.
Since the discovery of the rucksack, there's only been one update on social media, which implies that those close to the case believe he fell into the loch and passed away. It's important to note, however, that Finn is still officially considered a missing person, because even though the rucksack was found, when police divers searched the loch, no remains were located. So what exactly happened to him then? Well, we can't say for certain, but there are several theories about his disappearance. He left his family to start a new life, or ended things on his own terms. I believe this theory is one of the weaker ones. I'd even go as far as saying there's a 99% chance this wouldn't have happened. After all, Finn was said to have been in good spirits on the day he went missing. Even the bikers remember he had a smile on his face. With his business thriving and a son on the way, I think it's safe to say this is highly unlikely to have happened. He was attacked by an animal. The Scottish Highlands is home to some animals that could potentially kill you. For example, a venomous adder snake, a wild boar, and potentially large cats. Is there any substance to the theory of an animal attack though? Well, not only are attacks by any of these animals extremely rare, but the biggest threat, the big cats, namely panthers, haven't even been confirmed to be living in the region. Members of the public have posted videos online of what appears to be panthers lurking in the Highlands, but again, there's no actual confirmation by any sources to say that they live there. We have to add the rucksack evidence into this theory as well. If he was taken by an animal or was bitten by a snake, I firmly believe either A, Finn's clothes would be found close by, or B, if he did get bitten by a snake, he'd be close by to his bag. So even though this theory is slightly more probable, I don't think an animal attack occurred. He was murdered and or kidnapped. So this is where things take a bit more of a darker turn. Was Finn murdered, kidnapped, or both? And to put it bluntly, yes, there is the possibility that someone has done something to him. I must add though that the chances of that happening are slim. The Highlands are extremely secluded, so if anyone wanted to murder you and get away with it, that's probably the place that they're going to do it. That's not to say someone would get away with it, but someone would have a better chance of getting away with it there than, say, the city, for example. One does wonder if someone put the rucksack there months after his disappearance to throw the scent off the trail. Although I feel this is a stronger theory, I personally don't think anyone was out to get Finn. After all, he was loved by all of those who knew him. A tragic accident. And so this is the most plausible theory, in my opinion, because normally the truth is a lot more simpler than you think. I'm no expert when it comes to the investigation of missing people, but if you did watch my Jay Slater video, I did predict that Jay had more than likely fell down the mountain, which resulted in his death, and that turned out to be true. What could have happened to Finn then? Well, if we're to go off what the family believe, it looks as if he went into the loch and didn't re-emerge, meaning something happened in the water, which to be fair does make the most sense, but the rucksack is really throwing me off. I mean, the loch lock was searched over and over again. Surely someone would have came across it earlier. And if Finn did enter the lock, then why weren't his remains located when divers searched? Even if he didn't enter the water, I do still firmly believe that an accident occurred somewhere along his route. And with no evidence to suggest that anyone camped along the route at any point during that March weekend, I'd guess that whatever happened to him happened on day one, more than likely a few hours after he was spotted by the bikers.